All right, so here's my first trade on Save. It was gapping up. It was in play. It had, I think, 400,000 shares traded by about 9 a.m. Eastern. I think they're getting bought or they're potentially getting acquired, or there's talks about it. So no matter what the news was, it was giving good technicals that I liked. Here's the daily, and I can pretty much explain what I like about it just on the daily here. Had a bit of an uptrend now, and what I like is it has a combination of a compression here the last 4 days. So it has a bit of a compression here, and then a gap up outside of it. And on top of that, we already had a really nice higher time frame level here. You can see here there was big volume on this day, which is the low right here. And then that was also support again here. And then this compression, while not perfect, was definitely compressing up against this higher time frame level. So I like the combination of recent last 4 days, and then also using the last 2 months of this really clear level here at the whole $1.21, and then you have a gap up. ATR is around $1, maybe a little bit more, and so it was gapping up about an ATR, which is nice because then on that pullback, I wanted it to hold around 21. So with those levels, that created a 10 out of 10 level for me. When we look at the mid time frame here, we can look at the 60-minute or the 30-minute. All kind of shows the same, but here's the same thing I was saying. Only on the 60-minute, you can see this 21 was support. It was support, then it broke through it, came back up. Now it was resistance, and then only recently has it came back up and is now looking to break through 21, and then it did this morning. So this was my 10 out of 10 level 21. I was long biased from here, even though I did like this nice sort of higher time frame trend line down. We weren't really near that, which would be around $23-ish. That wasn't aligning with my 10 out of 10 horizontal level. So that, I don't know, that didn't affect it. But what I wanted was basically a gap and a retest. So that's the trade I was doing, a breakout overnight, gaps, retests, hopefully near the open, and then I get long off the 21. And that's pretty much what happened. Didn't execute it, but I like what it did here. Here's the 2-minute. You can see the pre-market pretty decent, a little choppy, but like I said, there was 400,000 shares. Those are all good signs that the stock is in play. Moved about an ATR down up, and then started to sort of triangle down and compress. Opens, comes right down to the 21. I put a limit order down there at like 2102 for about like 1/5 of an R risk, risking about $20.85. I wasn't really sure how much to give it, but I just figured, if it goes lower than 90 cents, even 85, I mean, it's not going to be good for me. I'm not going to like that kind of, it's either a short or it's just real spready, So let me go to the 1 minute here. And these are just some notes that I wrote down during the trades. I'm trying to do that more and more just because, I write in my journal on my notebook, but this is nice to just get it out right on here and kind of come back to it, and then I can always just delete it later, take some screenshots and then delete it. But again, so it comes down. Like I said, this is about 1 ATR down now. So I'm thinking, okay, we're a little bit overextended to the downside. I have my higher time frame level $21. It's a gap and retest. It's a perfect entry. I put in my limit order. It gets filled. I get in a little bit heavier, and after that second ad, I was risking around that 90 cents, maybe 92 cents. Didn't want it to go much lower than low of day already, where I initially got in, which it did go a little bit lower, but not much more. So this was me just getting out. That's I made some stupid rookie mistakes where I was watching lots of other stocks on my watch list, noticing a lot of them flashing red, making new low of days at the open, sort of feeling like we were going to have one of those really strong weekdays like we've had so many times in the last few months. That is no excuse, though, because I actually think that we've been in a bit of an uptrend now. So as long as we're holding levels, which this $21 is a clear example of higher lows, holding, you go long, unless otherwise. So some rookie mistakes on why I got out, but and then I tried to get short here at 21.30, thinking, okay, well, everything's selling off, so I actually want to get in on the pullback. And terrible. I just don't like this trade at all. This is just a clear error of execution and edge. There's no edge there. No reason to go short. The only time to have gone short is if this proved to me that it wasn't holding, and for it to do that, it would have needed to gotten under, broken through 21. Then it's telling me now it's actually breaking back into this range, and even better would be a breakdown or retest and then a new low, and that would be for sure the confirmation, that retest and then the new low. So that would be the reason to get short. I don't like to get short for the break of 21. So yeah, so let's move on from that. I lost about 0.5 R on that. So my goal every day is not to lose more than 0.1 or more than 1 R on any ticker. If I don't do that, I'm much more successful within the day and in the long term. So only lost about 0.5 R on that. And really on this initial long that I got spooked out on, I really lost less on that. I think I lost like 0.2 R. So this short was the majority of that. So after I noticed that Save ended up being a good long off 21 and that I missed it, I thought I would start looking at other stocks, and I pretty much wanted to see if I could find any that were still near their support and had yet to go long, and that might have been a long, but had yet to make that big move, because I went back to my initial assessment of, okay, I like things for a long right now. I like Save for a long, and SPY was actually pretty decent. It was holding yesterday's high. You can see here, kind of a weird day, but yesterday's high was right here, right around 414. Basically, SPY had a good pre-market. I mean, you can see it had decent volume, and it really liked this pre-market high of 415.50. So I knew if I could somehow trade it down here, I could also use 415.50 as another sub level to add or whatever. So like I said, Save was going long. I'd missed that, so I went over to SPY, liked how it was holding yesterday's high, liked how it wasn't continuing to go lower. It went down, hit that 415.50, came back down, made a new low, and then made basically a double bottom above yesterday's high. So I really liked that. So I got in long, risking low of day. I only risked about a half an R because this isn't like a plus trade for me. Got lucky, it moved almost right away. Partialed at 415.50, put in a limit order, put it in wrong, so it partialed a lot of my remaining position, which was all right. So I got in some of it after it kind of held here. When I got in here, I combined these two and put my new low under 415.50. For some reason, I wanted 417 as my main target, and probably because I wasn't super heavy. But I did tell myself, you know what, if it does come back down here to 415.50, I'm going to get heavier and heavier as it gets closer to it. I'm going to be risking a little bit more every time. However, the stop is pretty tight, so my risk reward is going to be a lot bigger than how much I'm risking because it's getting closer and closer. So I got in a little bit more, and then it got super close to 415.50, got in even heavier, risking around 40 cents, 42 cents, somewhere around there. And then it worked out. Basically just played this little consolidation range. Like I said, I wanted it to get up to high of day and then maybe get up to 417. And honestly, I was thinking this was going to be an eventual short unless it got above 417. And the reason being is when I look at the daily, I think it's just pretty clear. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days all within side of each other here, right? And the majority of them stop right around 416 and a half here. You have the one day that closed near the high of 417.23. So I figured as long as we are inside all of these days, even this big move up day, we're still a short, or we're a short leading up to that level. And that we're a short from here unless it gets on top, right? So I was going to hold until I got up to around that 417, get out, and then if it held, I was going to get long. Otherwise, I was expecting some type of climactic volume or something where an ask gets finally filled or this gets done distributing, which it looks like it sort of got done distributing. Just did a little bit more boom right here, and then it was off and back down to stay in this range, right? Because the majority of the time, price is staying just cycling through around value, around VPOC, etc. So that all made sense, and I like how I was taking profits when it was coming up here. I'm proud of that because I think I made like 1.5 hour, and really I only risked about a half hour from the beginning, and from there on out I wasn't really risking much more. So yeah, 1.5 hour, nothing amazing, but I was happy with that and was reading it correctly. Then here sold off. I like that. That makes sense. I guess it could have been a good short at 415.50 here. That was around 11:15, which sort of makes sense. You know, that's sort of the time where it kind of tries to come back to the middle of the range, back to VWAP, or reversion to the mean. But looks like it actually gained some momentum with volume and sort of got away from VWAP and then made its strong descent down for a few hours. So, yeah, I mean, this is definitely a better short, but I guess in terms of what it gave me within the first half hour, I liked it for a long until it was a short. But for me, this isn't a good short. I don't like this price action here. This is tricky. I guess if I looked at the mid time frame and tried to find that 10 out of 10 level, I guess it is somewhere up here at 416 and a half. But yeah, I would prefer to take a trade in another stock instead. Okay, so while I was in that SPY trade, I was continuing to cycle through stocks, and I liked AMD because really AMD has been a little bit stronger recently. You can see here it is making higher lows, even though there are a lot of engulfing candles on the daily. So it's not super convicted in the long, but still it's making its way up. And what I really liked was the last 3 days. This is basically a bread and butter 3-day play for me. You have a strong move up. Then I just wait for that strong move to eventually finish, which was the next day on day 2. We have a nice indecision day, which is inside this day, which I think is a decent short up here at the high yesterday or Friday. And then you have the 3rd day play, which is even better because you have even more confirmation on that 10 out of 10 range resistance level up here at around 109.50. And so for me, this is a 3rd day range resistance trade. So I noticed that while I was in that SPY. It had already done it though, so I think I started watching it around here, around 10:45. Loved it up here, hit that 109.50. Did a great, pretty decent high volume candle. Boom, hit it, rejected it with that wick. That would have been my short there. Would have loved that. Might have even tried a little bit here and then partialed some, and then it came up. Loved that. This is really what I've been doing for months, is working on these kinds of trades with the idea to go from top to bottom of at least this 2nd day indecision, which is probably going to be less than an ATR, sort of a compression day, a flag of some sort. But that's so I was watching it here. Then when I zoomed out, I said, okay, I missed that, that A+ entry with the great RVR. do the mid time frame here. Let's just look at this 5 minute. Yeah, so here's day 1. Here's day 2. Comes up. Day 3 comes up even higher. Hits that 109.50. Great short, and it comes back down. So right now we have a bit of a bottom here at 107. Sort of an inflection of this second day, right? Breaks above it, breaks back through a resistance, and then resistance. So 107 is pretty decent. Well, what I also liked is I liked this upper trend line. I really like these trend lines if they're pretty clear and they can sort of be combined with the thesis. And the thesis for me was, how can I get in short at a later entry because I missed the best one? And what I really liked was I liked the 107 horizontal level combined with this upper trend line, which is giving sort of another confluence, and plus low of day, right? So we have 107, we have low of day, and then we have this upper trend line that gets broken. So you have 3 things that sort of work together, plus a psych level. And so, yeah, I tried to short there. Even though I was a little worried, I'm like, you never know that maybe this upper trend line will hold, and it'll hold this, and it'll just keep bouncing. It'll just keep bouncing, and then maybe hold it, and maybe go back up, or just hold it. I've seen these where sometimes I find a good trend line that kind of matches everything, and it just sort of holds that level all day long. And it's just sort of an inside range day, but it always comes down, hits it generally, and then comes back up. And so I was making sure that it didn't do that. If it did do that, I think that the SPY and other stocks might have been more of a long then. So I basically took the momentum flush down through that, right? So that was a secondary entry for this range resistance idea, with the goal to get near low of day here, low of yesterday, right? This was that big indecision second day play. But really, this was a good low here. Wait. No. Yeah, it was somewhere around here. 105 ended up being my main target. I messed it up though, or didn't get it fully achieved. But so I got in on the flush, which on the flush I don't get in as heavier. I would like to see a retest to get in even heavier. So I was hoping that it kind of came back up. I was going to add in, but here you can see it just kind of, it made up its mind and went down there really quickly. So I got out at I only got out around 30%. I don't know why, but I was really wanting to hold for this 105. And I also really wanted to add. And instead of adding, I just got out of it, took the rest off because I had so much of it still remaining and I felt like I was missing out on that. Sort of missed this new 5-minute high to get out of some. Anyways, got all out. And then, of course, right when I got out, then it continued down. What I was really hoping for was just some kind of, it would have kept going up, eventually hit this 107 again, and then I would have added in, and then probably partialed again a little bit right here, and then right here, and then the 105 would have been the main target. If I wouldn't have gotten out of this, which I almost didn't, I would have been fine with just holding that and then getting mostly out at 105. So, so my reasons for exits need to be looked at for that. I'm not sure what I need to change. I think that I had multiple strategies on what I wanted to do, which is either I liked this level that it was holding, and if it broke above it, then I was going to get out of a lot more and then plan to add in, or I could have added on the flush back in. Or sometimes it is what it is. You know, a lot of times it will retest all the way back up here to my level, and then I'll just get short again. Anyways, so I missed out on that move. That was like another 1R I could have gotten, but I did like it later. So later it came all the way back up. I thought I would just keep an eye on it all day because I didn't know if this was going to trend down. But you can see here it really nicely sort of held yesterday's low, broke through it a little bit, failed breakdown, and then came back up. Came close to VWAP, came really close to this big pullback. So I liked it to short. So I played this level again, this 106.33, which is sort of an intraday level that it was trading around. I after I felt like it sort of came up here, double topped up here, and then got back under that level. So then I went short. It was really being weird here, so I got out of some just in case, and then got in it again, and then it made its move down and got a decent trade out of that. So yeah. And so my last trade was on Snap. I'm actually going to make a separate video really quick where I talk about how much I loved this Snap setup and how similar it was to some other setups that I've seen and traded, particularly the AMC trade back on May the 3rd. I have a calendar behind my computer on the wall that keeps a month there where I circle red and green based on how well I followed my rules. But in the boxes, I also write a few quick phrases on what the day was like and what happened. And so I can quickly look up there and see, oh yeah, when was that AMC trade? And I could see it was on Tuesday, May 3rd. So I quickly get in my folder, pull out the AMC chart, and then basically use that chart to help me trade Snap today, and saw a lot of similarities. So it really did help me manage the trade. So I'm going to make a quick video on that right now, and I'm going to end this trade review today. But you could see how I got this pretty decent sort of climactic move to the top of a higher time frame range, and then it fades and the volume sort of dies off, and then it fades back towards VWAP, and that's what I was able to see and take that short here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the trade review, and I had a really good day. These days where these days where I'm really accurate are very rare, but they really mess me up for a few days. So they kind of give me that false confidence or that overconfidence for the next few days. So tomorrow I'm really gonna be as focused and aware as I can, and try not to overtrade, things like that, because good days can always bring about those overconfident days. So goal is just to be like a robot every day. Don't get too confident, don't get too sad, just kind of stay in the middle, treat it as every other day, and keep that going. So talk to you later.